Hi, this is Brandon from ThirstGym.com. Today we're talking about an exercise called the seated weighted box jump. This is a great way to develop some explosive lower body power with a little bit of weight and some boxes. So from a seated perspective, we need a box we're going to sit on and then another box that we're going to jump on, and we do need some weight. Quick disclaimer here, I usually recommend 10 to 20% of my athlete's body weight that they hold in their hands. So for a rough frame, I'm about 150 pounds. In here I have 20 pounds, two 10-pound kettlebells, so the maximum I would want to use is 30. Certainly you could use more, but we got to think about where we're at on the force velocity curve, and we still want this to be fast, explosive, and still provide an amount of force and explosiveness out of the exercise. So we don't want these too heavy because then it slows us down too much. So the more explosive the athlete is, the more weight you can justify using, because it's going to limit the amount of height that they can jump, right? So if you have a very weak athlete, this may not be the exercise for them because they just need to work on creating enough force, period, which is their body weight. External load may not be for them. And this exercise is a great example of why you may not want to use weight. You just want to do a regular seated box jump. But the seated box jump from the weight perspective, what's nice here is that we can work on creating the rate amount of force because we aren't going to have the stress shortening cycle. With a regular jump here, if I came down, I'm going to load my glutes and hamstrings and then go. So I'm going to use my stress shortening cycle. From a seated perspective, we're not going to get that. I can raise my feet up a little bit, but my hamstrings and my glutes aren't getting elongated here. I'm just basically being able to create as much force into the ground by leaning forward a little bit, but I'm not getting that eccentric load. So this is going to definitely be harder. But then we're going to take the weights on our sides. Again, I always want the box to make sure my hips are a little bit above my knees. I don't want to be a super deep squat. This is barely above my knees. This is about as low as I would want to go. And from here, what we want to focus on is that I can lean back a little bit and raise my feet, or I can keep my feet completely flat. I like to call that a no feet position. And then that just works on having to lean forward and create the force. So you can kind of change what you want to here. But weights are by my sides. I'm going to lean back a little bit, create as much force as I can, and then stick my landing. Always jumping as high as I can with each rep. Still driving my knees up, landing whole foot in an athletic base position. We'll do one more here, as high as you can, and then back down. So again, we talked about the rate of force development on the force velocity curve, and basically we're just trying to slow this down a little bit. So if I did this with my body weight, I'd be more explosive. I could jump higher. Adding some weight moves me on that force velocity curve, more so in that power or maybe even that strength speed aspect, or swing speed, or just overall speed. Okay, so we can focus where we want to be depending on what the training effects that we're after. Now, I don't have a sweet algorithm to tell you your athlete should be able to jump so high to be able to do this. You just kind of have to use the eye test. If your athletes look like they're jumping well, they've got some good explosive power, adding some external load can slow them down a little bit, which can then keep you in that more power-based area. But if they're, again, like I said, incredibly weak and still need to work on general plyometrics and jumping, then the weight doesn't have to be there. So when it comes to programming, usually recommend 3 to 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps on this, paired with any other plyometric or speed and agility-based exercise you think has good transfer with this, whether that'd be more jumping, that'd be sprinting. It's entirely up to you. But usually we like to pair a couple things in our speed and power area, so we're maximizing our time, but also benefiting from the drills that we're using. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks. Have a great day.